Tonight, when the lights go off, something changes in your chest. Your breathing shifts. Your ears sharpen. You tell yourself it's nothing. But the real answer is far stranger than nerves or imagination. You are not afraid of darkness. You are afraid of what darkness used to mean. For most of human history, night was not restful. Night was the shift change. It was when the predators that had been sleeping through the heat of the day woke up and started hunting. Your ancestors knew this. Their bodies remembered it long before their minds could explain it. Think about the last time you walked through a dark room in your own house. Your hands searched for a wall. Your steps got smaller. Some part of you expected something to be there. Why does a fully modern brain, sitting inside a locked house with a working alarm system, still behave like it's standing on an open savanna 3 million years ago? The anthropologists Robert Sussman and Donna Hart spent years studying the fossil record of early hominins, and their conclusion reshaped how scientists think about our past. Early humans were not always the hunters. Often, they were the hunted. Fossilized skulls from early hominin sites show puncture marks that match the exact spacing of leopard teeth, claw marks that match the reach of extinct eagles, bite patterns from ancient crocodiles found in bones near old riverbeds. Your ancestors were prey, regularly, predictably, and night was prime time for it. Here's the part that should make you sit up. Most of the animals hunting early humans were nocturnal or had far sharper night vision than we did. Big cats hunted after dusk. Hyenas moved in the dark. Humans had almost none of the tools to fight back once the sun went down. No claws built for a night ambush. No natural camouflage. No echolocation. Just soft skin, slow reflexes in low light, and eyes that needed hours to adjust. So evolution did what it always does. It built a shortcut. Fear is expensive to carry around every day. It burns energy. It disrupts digestion, focus, sleep. But fear that switches on exactly when the sun goes down and switches off again at dawn? That's efficient. That's a fear response tied directly to a real, recurring, life or death pattern. Individuals who felt uneasy at night, who stayed close to the group, who avoided wandering into open darkness alone, were simply more likely to survive long enough to have children. Generation after generation, that unease got wired deeper into the nervous system. You didn't learn to fear the dark. You inherited it. There's a name for this kind of learning, and it comes from a completely different corner of psychology. The researcher Arne Oman spent decades studying what he called prepared fear. In his experiments, people were shown images of snakes, spiders, angry faces, alongside neutral objects like flowers or mushrooms. Test subjects learned to fear the snakes and spiders almost instantly, and the fear stuck around far longer, even when nothing bad ever actually happened. The neutral objects never triggered the same response, no matter how many times they were paired with something unpleasant. A man's conclusion was simple. Some fears are not learned in the normal sense. They are preloaded. Evolution installs certain threat responses ahead of time, because waiting to learn them the hard way would be too costly. Darkness fits that same pattern. It isn't really the black space in front of you that your brain fears. It's the uncertainty hiding inside it. And snakes were dangerous because they were specific. Darkness is dangerous because it could be anything. Ever notice how your imagination gets louder at night? A coat on a hook becomes a silhouette. A creak in the floor becomes footsteps. Why does your mind reach for the worst-case explanation the moment visibility drops? Because for nearly all of human history, that instinct kept you alive. A false alarm cost you nothing but a racing heart. A missed real threat could cost you everything. So your brain evolved to be a smoke detector, not a judge. It would rather scream at a coat 1,000 times than stay silent once when a real predator was crouched nearby. That trade-off is not a flaw. It's a survival strategy running exactly as designed. Then something happened that changed everything, and it happened slower than you'd think. The anthropologist Richard Wrangham has spent much of his career studying one specific turning point in human evolution: the control of fire. Wrangham's research suggests that once early humans learned to keep flames burning through the night, the entire rhythm of human life shifted. Fire pushed back the predators. It extended the day artificially. It let groups gather, talk, plan, and rest without the constant vigilance the dark used to demand. But here's the twist. Fire changed human behavior almost overnight in evolutionary terms. It did not change human biology at the same speed. Genes move on a much slower clock than technology does. So even after fire, even after walls, even after electricity, streetlights, security cameras, and smartphone flashlights, the ancient wiring stayed exactly where it was. Your nervous system never got the memo that the threat mostly disappeared. That's the strange part of being human. You're running software built for a world that barely exists anymore. Consider what actually happens in your brain the moment a room goes dark. The amygdala, the almond-shaped structure buried deep in your brain that specializes in detecting threats, becomes more active. At the exact same time, your visual cortex is getting less reliable information to work with. Less data, more alarm. It's almost backwards from how you'd expect a rational system to behave. But fear was never meant to be rational. It was meant to be fast. Why do children fear the dark more intensely than most adults? Partly because a child's brain is still calibrating what counts as dangerous, and partly because children instinctively understand something adults have talked themselves out of: vulnerability. A small body, alone, in low visibility, with limited ability to defend itself, is exactly the scenario your ancestors' nervous systems were built to flag as high risk. Adults don't lose that wiring. They just get better at overriding it. Most nights, you walk past that dark hallway anyway. You remind yourself there's nothing there. You win the argument with your own amygdala through logic and repetition. But the fear response itself never fully disappears. It just gets quieter with practice, not erased. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Studies on modern sleep patterns show something researchers didn't originally expect. In several experiments where participants were kept in complete darkness for extended stretches, without artificial light or clocks, their sleep naturally split into two separate blocks, with a period of quiet wakefulness in between. Some historians believe this pattern, sometimes called first sleep and second sleep, was the normal human sleep rhythm for most of history, before artificial lighting collapsed it into one continuous block. During that middle period of wakefulness, in the deepest dark of night, people didn't panic. They sat quietly. They tended fires. They talked in low voices. It was a built-in checkpoint, a moment of alert stillness in the most dangerous hours, right when ancient predators would have been most active. So even your sleep architecture carries a memory of the dark being something to stay alert for. Think about what this means the next time you feel that flicker of unease switching off a light at the top of the stairs. That feeling isn't weakness. It isn't superstition. It's an inherited alarm system, tuned over millions of years, still running quietly in the background of a modern life it was never designed for. You'll never fully turn it off, and you're not supposed to. It's not a bug in your programming. It's a message from every ancestor who made it through a dangerous night and passed that caution down to you. So tonight, when the lights go off and something changes in your chest, know exactly what that is. It isn't fear of nothing. It's a memory of everything.